Usually gives a second. Cool. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome again to another live recording of Pencil Leadership. Again, I'm Chris Anderson, the host of the show, and you guys are in for a treat today. We have a phenomenal and well-versed guest in
translation. He means old. Yeah.
in the world of entrepreneur. We got Tom Matzen here with us today, guys. He has started, and this is a correct number, 87 of his own businesses. 87 businesses he started. On top of that, he's a best-selling author. He's been interviewed on hundreds of different radio, TV show, and publications like magazines. So he's out there. People are seeking his guidance. And then on top of that, his personal coaching clients that he's helped, they've generated more than 100 million in sales cumulatively. So he knows what he's doing. He's been doing it a while, and we are so blessed to have Tom on the show today. Tom, welcome.
Hey, Chris, super excited to be here. And in fact, I should have prepped for this. In the other room is my 13-year-old son's box of 200 pencils. He needed some
Awesome.
pencils, and we were in Walmart, and he said, "This is all they've got, Dad." And I look, and it's 200 pencils in a box. So there's pencil leadership for you. 200 pencils for $1.50 or whatever it was.
Yeah, that's the way to do it. So, well, no, welcome. We're excited to have you on, and I would love for you if you just wanted to start out sharing a little bit about maybe what got you into entrepreneurship and what you love about what you do.
Well, I was working with the abacus back in the day, and there were a dinosaur walked by. No, I will say I did start my first business, BG. You know what BG is, Chris?
Before
Google.
Before Google. Okay.
Before Google. My first business, I was 16 years old. So that makes it, oh my God, 40 years ago.
Wow.
40 years ago. And it was a DJ service.
Okay.
And I started the business to get to know girls. That was it. There was no big strategy.
You gotta have a reason, right?
Well, there was a big strategy. It just wasn't a money strategy.
Yeah.
And I remember it all the time because I actually keep my very first business card framed with me on my desk.
That's so cool.
And I keep it for two reasons. One is just to remember that, it's been a journey. But the other is every time I think I'm super smart or I'm super intelligent, I glance at this because, you've heard of the concept of USP or unique value proposition, unique selling proposition.
Yep.
Right. For those listeners, if you haven't heard it, it's what makes what you're doing special so that other people should do business with you.
Yeah.
Super important. The most important question in marketing, without a doubt. And I keep this with me to remind me that I'm not as smart as I think I am, or at least I wasn't back then. So this was a DJ company. It was called After 8 Music Services.
Huh.
And do you see what it says here under the description?
We play for anyone.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
The exact opposite of a USP. We play for anyone. And we did. We did polkas. We did rock. We did bar mitzvahs, bat mitzvahs. We did weddings. You named it. High school dance. We did everything. And back then, kids, that was with LPs. These full long play albums that you had to buy and carry around in big milk crates that you stole from the local dairy until they resized them down by half an inch so you couldn't use them for that anymore. That's how old I am. Back when the crates fit the albums.
Wow.
We would bring about 500 albums to every gig.
Jeez.
And as a result, between that and our high fidelity sound equipment, we never made profit. But we did meet a lot of girls. So, it was good. The goal was accomplished. Learned. It was just a different goal.
Yeah. A lot of lessons learned, I'm sure, too, through that starting.
Absolutely.
That's awesome, though. So you've always had it in your blood, entrepreneurship and...
Yeah, ever since I was 16 years old, and I had a buddy of mine, his uncle was in Amway.
Oh,
and his uncle invited his nephew to come to an event, and he invited me. Yeah. And I said, "What's it about?" And he said, "Amway." I didn't know what that was. I was 16. He said, "Well, it's about how you make money." I said, "Oh, good." He goes, "Yeah, and my uncle is a millionaire, and he's going to talk about how he became a millionaire." I said, "I'm there."
Yeah. Why not?
I'm there. Why not? And I go there and he goes through all the different things, and he kept making all these math mistakes when he was doing his presentation. And afterwards I had a chance to meet him and, "Mr. Frank, nice to meet you, sir. How are you?" And da-da-da-da. And I said, "Just have one question for you. You were doing this presentation. You mentioned you've done this presentation a whole bunch of times." "Yes. Yeah, you do it all the time. Every week I do da-da-da." I said, "Okay. How come you keep making math mistakes?" And he smiles. And he goes, well, let me let you in on a little secret, son. If people watching the presentation think you have to be a genius, they're not going to be interested in doing it. And so I make the same math mistakes in every presentation that I do so that they don't have to feel pressure and they can consider doing this. And as a young kid, I was enthralled. Later, I realized, is that manipulation? Is that genuinely matching your audiences? I'm still torn over the concept. Like, are you manipulating someone when you deliberately make a money mistake, or are you simply showing them anyone can do this?
Yeah.
I got to say, even 40 years later, made and lost millions many times over, I'm not sure. But it was a fascinating example of a system that worked. It was a system that worked. And what Frank opened up for me, I never made any money in Amway, but what Frank opened up for me was the concept of modeling success, studying those that have had success, learning from those that had success, and then figuring out how to apply it in your own life. And obviously, people listening to this podcast are doing that. So kudos to you guys. Podcasts weren't invented back then, so I had to do it old school.
Right. That's awesome. No, I think that's cool. And so with that journey, like learning that, and so what does success look like to you then? Modeling success. Obviously you learn from different individuals. So what would that model look like for you today?
Well, for me, it's a very holistic model. So making money is one of the elements, but it focuses on contribution and impact most. Contribution and impact. It also, as I've gotten older and I've done more businesses and the thrill of the hunt has subsided, now it's also about a business that works with or without me. Instead of me being the center of everything. And, early on, your first few businesses, you want to be the center of everything. Take that DJ service, right? We bought the albums, we carried the equipment, we installed the equipment, we were the DJs, we packed it up. We invoiced, we were everything, right? Chief cook and bottle washer. And I imagine most people listening in are wearing every hat in your business today. Well, newsflash, as I started to do more and more businesses, just because you can do it doesn't mean you should be doing
it. Yep.
Right? Podcasting is a great example, right? Doing the interviews, absolutely. It's a great role for someone in the business of podcasting because you get to meet the guests, you get to talk, you get to learn, you ask your own questions. But should you be editing and putting show notes together and promoting and doing all that other stuff? Well, my experience is no, not if you want to make money in the business of podcasting. If it's a hobby, all the power to you. But if you want to make money in a business, you want to do what you're awesome at. Yeah. And then you want to find people to do all the rest.
No, absolutely. But so how would you advise people starting out? Maybe they don't have the capital or the funds to pay someone else to do some of those. Do you still tell them like, okay, bootstrap, like
it's even more important. My advice is it's even more important. So you need to ask a different question. And that question is who, not how. So, how do I get this done? It implies you're going to do it. Who can do this for me opens up a whole nother world of thinking.
Okay.
So, today we help people package their knowledge and wisdom and sell high ticket programs that guarantee results. We charge a lot of money for that. We guarantee results. As a result, we have a certain clientele that pays us a lot of money. But a lot of times we get people that come to us that don't have any money.
Right.
Well, guess what? We learned early on that if they're a good fit on everything but money, they've got passion and time, and we always need help. And we're growing rapidly, and so we can always use help. So we will often do scholarships or barter deals or ambassador programs. We have different types where people trade their time to help us build our business. And in return, we give them $25,000 or $100,000 worth of help to grow their business. So as soon as you know that's even possible, Chris, it opens your mind up to all sorts of things.
That's a great point.
Because before that, it was like, well, I got to do this. I got to pay someone to do this. Well, that's one option.
Yeah.
But who do you know that might do it for you for free or for a sponsorship spot on your show or for help or for this or for this? Or if you cut their lawn, they edit your video or whatever. I mean, once you open your mind as a young entrepreneur, as a new entrepreneur, it doesn't matter how old you are, as a new entrepreneur, once you open your mind to the possibility of, I don't have to do everything. In fact, I ought not to do everything. then all kinds of really cool things open up for you. And it's a lot more fun
That's
too.
awesome. No, that's a great point. It's almost kind of, so I've heard people using like internships. And so they give them their coaching for in turn having them almost like a virtual assistant kind of thing, or wherever their
totally. That's a
strength might
perfect
be.
example.
Yeah.
That's a perfect example.
Yeah. And go ahead.
Well, I'm just gonna say, as soon as you know that it's possible, you can brainstorm all those ideas.
Yeah.
The key is you need to ask that question: who, not how.
Yeah.
Who, not how. Who do I know who could do that? Who do I know who could do that? And the other one I learned from one of my early mentors, Jay Abraham, was, well, if you could hire the person, how would you do it? If you could, what do you mean? Well, if you could, like, how would you pull it off?
All right.
Oh, and what that leads to are things like pre-selling a program, pre-selling a course. We're about to sign, well, if they're listening in, hey, how are you, Barry and Blue? We're about to sign the largest vendor contract I've ever signed.
Oh, wow. Awesome.
Okay. It's the total dollar value of what I'm committing to them is more than $100,000.
Wow.
And when we were first presented this, it was this amazing idea. And I took the numbers and I'm like, we can't afford that right now. We can't afford that right now. And my COO partner, David, said, who, not how, Tom? Who, not how? And I swear, Chris, 2 weeks later, we had a brand new client in a brand new program. And it was our first $1 million program.
Wow.
Which means his down payment will be $100,000.
Wow.
And we will self-fund the most expensive contract we've ever considered.
That's awesome.
Self-fund in 2 weeks now there's still work to be done.
Right.
We still have to help, finish it all off. But the plan came together in about 3 days.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah. And it's so everyone tuning in, if you're thinking like life as a solopreneur is the way to go, yeah, it's the way to start for sure. But it's not the way to build a lifestyle that you want.
Right.
Right. If you have to be there for everything in your business all the time, that's not a business.
No.
That's a job with economic risk.
Yep. That's
the worst of both worlds. Let me tell you, because you got the economic risk of a business and you got the hours of a job, if not more.
Yep.
That's not a win-win. That's a lose-lose, baby. That's not a good combination. So you want to flip it around and say, okay, how can I get other people to do that? Or how can they get involved? And, they can be joint ventures. They can be strategic partnerships. There's lots of ways to leverage the work that you do. Right. So
that's a great point.
I think that's a real important thing when you're starting out in business, to realize just because you can do it doesn't mean you should be doing it. Right.
No, I think that's huge, because I think a lot of times starting out, I know when I started, like just feeling the overwhelm of like, man, I have all these hats I have to wear and all this stuff I have to do. And like, it gets overwhelming. And so one, breaking it down and keeping it simple. And then again, going back to who, not how, I think those are huge.
There's two other key strategies I would keep in mind if you're new. The next one is, especially in the world of selling information and knowledge, a lot of people teach what they call an Ascension model. You start with something free, and then a tripwire, and then $97, and then $197, and then $300, and then $500, then $2,000, and then eventually you charge real money. The problem with that model is you never make money.
Okay.
I've met over 10,000 people who sell wisdom and knowledge in the world.
Yeah.
3 make money off an Ascension model.
Okay.
A few others will break even on the acquisition cost, but the vast majority, and these are awesome marketers that if you knew their names, you'd be like, oh no, that guy's making money off their Ascension model. Nah. You can't make money selling low ticket items if your cost of acquisition is higher than the sale.
Gotcha.
You just can't do that. If you sold a pair of shoes for $50 and it cost you $100 to get the customer to come in,
right?
Would you sell shoes for $50?
Nope.
No, you'd stop selling shoes for $50. And so what would you do? Well, in the shoe world, you would become, I live near Vancouver. There's a local shoe operator called Fluvog.
Okay.
It does these amazing women and men shoes that are basically fashion shoes, but super well built. Last time I was in one of their stores, $400 was the starting price for a pair of shoes.
Nice.
Well, guess what? you can spend $100 to bring someone in then.
Yes, right.
You got the margin.
Yeah.
You've got the margin. So what the second big piece of advice, other than don't do it all yourself, is start high ticket.
Okay.
Start high ticket. You say, well, wait a second, Tom, that's impossible. I'm just getting going. I'm just starting.
Right.
Yeah, it's impossible in your current frame of mind. But again, when you ask the question, well, if I could, what would that look like? Right? On today's show, we're going to give an offer for a scholarship to everyone who's listening, and we'll teach you how to do this step by step for free. But let's say you weren't listening to me. Let's say you weren't listening to Chris and I talk about this today. And for those that are, that's legitimately what we're going to offer you. So definitely you want to tune in for that. But let's say you were just like thinking that, say, well, again, how could I? Well, what you would do is you would find people that sell high ticket first and then look at what they do. And, for example, there are two things that we teach everyone that are really easy to describe. Number one is sell outcomes, not processes. Sell outcomes, because that's way more valuable to someone, right?
Yeah.
So if you're in the helping businesses grow business, sell more sales. Don't sell a website.
Okay.
Right? A website can get more leads. More leads can lead to more sales. Sell more sales with your website. Don't just sell a website.
Gotcha.
Follow the difference there?
Yeah.
You're in podcasting, right? A simple way you could teach people how to make money in a podcast versus how to run a podcast.
True.
Same idea, same effort,
yeah.
but one extends the outcome to something that matters. How to make money off a podcast, right?
Yeah.
That would matter to somebody. How to just do a podcast and not make any money. Well, anybody can teach that. It also doesn't have a lot of value.
Yeah.
And Lord knows there are a million sites starting up every month now that have no value in the podcast world, right? Because content alone isn't going to get listeners, right? We all know that. So you want to look at, how do you sell outcomes? And then the other part that relates to that is figure out how to guarantee results.
Okay.
Figure out how to guarantee results. Note, I don't say just like do it. Don't just claim it. Figure out how. How do you guarantee results? Because when you can guarantee results for your client, guess what? You're not competing on price.
True.
Right? You're not competing on price. Do you think that guy, his name happened to be Dan, do you think Dan signed a 7-figure program agreement with us because we weren't going to guarantee results?
No.
Not a chance. Right?
Yeah.
It was a brand new program. I told you, it was a brand new program. It was basically combining several of our programs together to make like an Uber program, frankly.
Yeah.
So we'd thought about it before, but we never had a perfect fit before. And in this situation, he's only putting 10% down. All the rest is linked to results.
Wow.
And we're guaranteeing 10 million in results, Chris.
Not
10 million.
bad.
That's our highest guarantee we've also ever offered. And so, but that's 10 times his total investment. Well, that becomes a real simple decision. That part of it becomes simple.
Yeah.
How you pull it off? Well, no, that's work. You got to figure out how to do that, right?
Sure.
Even for us, we teach high ticket programs. It's the first time we've ever offered one like that. But guess what? It won't be the last time.
For sure.
Now we figured out how to do it.
Yeah.
Right? Now we're going to work on fulfilling it like crazy. So he becomes a raving fan. And now we'll suddenly have a nice Uber program at that level.
That's awesome.
Right.
Yeah.
And so if you're starting out, right, focus on getting yourself out of the way so you can do your magic.
Right.
Sell outcomes, not processes or tactics or steps along the way. Sell outcomes. Are you in the better life business? Are you in the better relationship business? Are you in the make money, the save money, the stay out of jail business? Those are the big 5.
Yeah.
Right. Figure out which business you're in of those 5 and sell outcomes and guarantee results. And all of a sudden, you don't need $847 tripwires to pay your bills.
True.
Right. I mean, if you're our scholarship students, the average program they develop is $25,000.
Wow.
And in our model, they collect a quarter up front.
Okay. And
the rest is linked to results. So they will get $6,250 on average for each sale, each client they get.
Okay.
Well, to make $100,000, you don't need a lot of clients then.
Right.
Right. If you're getting $6,250 up front and then another $6,250 fairly soon based on results, half your money is coming up. You need 8 clients to make $100,000 a year. Guess what? Bye-bye job.
Yeah.
Right. For most people,
right.
Bye-bye job. You make $100,000 extra, bye-bye job.
And they'll be teaching something or educating or guiding people to do something that they love doing. So
Yes.
that's what they're doing. So
Totally.
how does it go back? So so many people I've talked to, they don't high ticket for them. Like, well, I don't have any results to show yet. I'm just getting started. So how can they overcome those kind of I know it's a lot of with the mindset and
no, it's got nothing to do with the mindset. That's BS. That's BS. People that tell you that are trying to sell you mindset training. By the way, mindset training is awesome and valuable, but that doesn't answer that question.
I got you. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, how you answer? There's two parts to answering that question.
Okay.
First, only sell something, and you said it very quickly, but you might have been listening in. People out there, they might be working out the gym and they work, they're between reps or something.
Multitasking or something.
Something you love. In fact, I look at it as the combination of four things: something you love, something you're good at, something you can be paid for, plenty of things you love that you can't get paid for,
right?
And something the world needs.
Yep.
That intersection, the Japanese have a term for it called ikigai.
Yep.
Ikigai.
Yeah.
Ikigai. I think that's how it's pronounced. Ikigai, probably. Ikigai. Ikigai. That sounds better. So if you find that perfect combination.
Yeah.
But then second, you're selling an outcome. So if you're not experienced in that area, let's take podcasting, right? You've done 40, 50 shows already, which is awesome. Most people stop at about 8. So way to go, Chris. You're past the average median already, right? You're in the upper half.
Woo!
Well, are you making $100,000 a year off your show yet?
No.
So if you were to sell how to make $100,000 a year off your podcast show, that would be incongruent and a lie.
Right.
Today.
Yes. Right.
But do you know people that are making $100,000 a year off their shows?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Have you interviewed any of them?
No.
Could you interview some of them?
I would love to.
The easiest person in the world to get an interview with is a podcaster.
That's true.
Right? It's the easiest possible category is podcasters. Even successful podcasters love to be interviewed. Why? Because they love to talk.
Yeah.
They're getting paid to talk, and they're going to talk with you. I get paid to talk. I say, yes, let's talk. We do a show, right? Like people who love to talk have no problem talking. So let's say you go out and you find 20 of the best podcasters in the niche you love, start up business, let's say. And the criteria is that they're making at least 6 figures from their podcast.
Okay.
By the way, not in their podcast, but from their podcast.
Yeah.
Right. So you go and find 20 people. Josh Elledge is one of them. He's a client and partner of ours.
Okay.
He teaches people how to monetize podcasts and create 7-figure income streams.
Cool.
So you would interview Josh, you'd interview Steve Olsher, you'd interview all these people. And let's say you've done 20 of those interviews.
Yeah.
How long would that take? What do you think? Like if you went for it.
How long to interview all of them?
Yeah.
20 hours. So whatever that's.
Yeah, but you got to reach out, you got to connect with them, you got to fit them in.
Maybe a quarter of the year.
Yeah. 3 months max, baby, right?
Yeah.
3 months. Well, guess what? Now you have a different type of authority. You have reporter authority. You now are an expert because you've interviewed 20 different experts and you've pulled out the commonalities, the threads, and come up with a model.
Yeah.
Especially if you follow our structure. And here are the 5 steps to making 6 figures as a podcaster. Boom, 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 boom. Now you are an authority. You haven't yet done it, but you are an authority, right? We record this we're broadcasting this in the middle of COVID times.
Yeah.
How many doctors have had COVID that give us advice?
True.
Not many.
Yeah.
Hopefully,
you're right.
Sake,
yeah.
Right? Not many. The doctors that are experts on TV, none have I ever seen that had COVID.
Right. Because they know what to do.
That's reporter authority. They've studied it. They've seen other people. They've talked to people that have had it. And then they broadcast and tell us, okay, wear your mask, you idiots, or whatever it is, right?
Right.
Whatever their advice is. In March, they were saying, don't wear your masks. It's terrible. And now, of course, they're saying, you must wear it. It's terrible if you don't. So I'm not saying they're perfect. That's not what I'm saying. And I don't care what side of the issue you're on, right? I'm on the alive side.
Yeah,
that's the side I'm on. I'd rather be alive than dead. If you prefer to be dead, then ignore everyone, right? Because at some point it's going to catch up with you.
Yeah, for sure.
right? Even you can hold a golf club up in the golf course, and the lightning strike eventually will find you, right?
Yep.
Unless you're holding a 1-iron. You heard that old joke, right?
No, I don't know that one.
Oh yeah, that was an old Arnold Palmer joke. A 1-iron for you people that golf, you know what crazy that is. You hold a 1-iron up in the air because even God can't hit a 1-iron. So
nice. Yeah, I don't know if I can hit many of the irons. So
yeah,
we'll leave it
exactly. So, but here's the example, right? So you now studied 20 authorities, and 20, by the way, is the perfect number.
Gotcha.
It's not an accidental number. It's the perfect number because you'll be able to recognize patterns.
Okay.
You'll be able to recognize patterns. And if you're taking good notes and you're recording in Zoom transcribes it now, for Pete's sake. You got the transcription, you got the interview and video, you got the audio, you got your own notes.
Yep.
You take some time to organize it all. We use mind mapping software, but you could use Post-it notes.
Yeah.
And group it up. And we recommend you group it into 5 distinct stages, 5 steps. And the reason for that is if you're an authority, your job is to bring order from chaos.
Yep.
Order from chaos. Order from chaos. And so 5 turns out to be the perfect number. There's a bunch of rationale behind it. We don't have time today to get into it. But whether it's NLP or neuroassociative conditioning or some of the sciences of the mind, 5 is the perfect combination for value. 3 is great, but not enough value. More than 5 could be confusing.
Okay.
And don't make it an even number. Don't make it an even number. So if you have to split it up to make 4 into 5, do it. If you've got 12 steps in step 4, that's okay. Group them all together if they make sense. Put them all together. Step 4 is these 12 things.
Gotcha.
Great. Got it. Now you are an authority. And then you have the ability to link your offer to results. You can say, okay, Chris, I'm going to teach you how to build a 6-figure podcasting business. It's a brand new program I'm launching. Because it's a brand new program, right? I'm only going to ask for 25% up front. All the rest is linked to results. And you don't pay me the last half, in fact, until you get to $250,000 in sales from your podcast. Might take us 6 months, might take us a year. Heck, it's a new program. Might take me 2 years. Regardless, you don't pay me that last half until we get there. How does that sound, Chris? If Chris wants to build a 6-figure podcast business,
you're like, okay, yeah, why not?
Chris is like, oh my God, what a breath of fresh air. Everybody else wants my money up front.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Or they want payments every month, which is linked to the calendar, not to my results.
Yep.
Right? Who is that supporting? Them?
Yep.
It's not supporting you. Monthly payments, it's helping them out. No, it's not. You want to help them out? Link your payments to results. You link it to results, now all of a sudden it's honorable. It's honorable, and you can play that game right away. Does that make sense, Chris?
Yeah. Yeah, because then it kind of gives them more, there's less risk that way.
That's the idea. My old mentor, Jay Abraham, calls it risk reversal. You're taking the risk off the prospect's shoulders, and you're putting it on your shoulders.
To get them results, yep.
You're putting the risk squarely on your shoulders. Now, extra for experts, ask for some up front if you can.
Right.
And the reason is they need to listen.
Yep.
If you don't ask for anything up front, it's really easy to ignore your advice.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
It's very easy to ignore your advice. So I've learned to ask for some up front. But when I first learned this concept of risk reversal, I would risk reverse the whole thing.
Gotcha.
And I could charge a lot because people were paying at the end.
True.
Now I learned they didn't always listen. So then I went half up front, half at the end. And now we're doing bigger programs. So it's typically a quarter or a 1/8, the 12.5% up front.
Gotcha.
Depending on the size of the program.
Yeah.
And that's what we teach our clients to do the same thing.
Okay. Then those are great points for sure. Because I think that's a big stumbling block for early entrepreneurs is it's that imposter syndrome type deal. And so I think that's a good thing.
There's one other piece I would add because it kind of relates to those.
Oh yeah.
You got to set a goal to make at least 100,000 in your pocket in your first year.
Okay.
At least 100,000 in your pocket in your first year, because otherwise it's just a hobby.
Right.
And in order to do that, once you set that as a goal, you then have to think of it as a business.
Yep.
Right. How am I going to generate 100,000? I'm going to do this. What am I going to do this? Right. If you want to sell haircuts.
Yeah.
It's like, oh man, that's a lot of haircuts. How am I going to make, $50 a haircut? 1,000 is 20, 100,000 is 2,000 haircuts. 2,000 haircuts. I couldn't possibly do that part-time. Congratulations. You need people to cut hair.
Yeah.
And now you're thinking like an entrepreneur. Which, by the way, you then would go buy a hair salon because they're easy to buy today, unfortunately, because of COVID. There's a lot of them that are struggling. So you could buy a hair salon, have the owner finance you, and have 4 or 5 stylists come with.
Yeah.
It's like, what? No, I just want to cut hair. No, you don't. You want to make a business. Now, if you want to cut hair, then just recognize you're doing a hobby.
Right.
You're not doing a business. Don't pretend you're calling it just because you call it a business, it's a business. Doesn't work that way.
Right.
I'm a millionaire. I'm a millionaire. I'm a millionaire. Open up your eyes. You're not a millionaire yet.
Right.
You might have a millionaire mindset, but you're not a millionaire yet. There is a difference between thinking about it and actually having it.
Yep.
Right. And same with business, right? A lot of people make the mistake of dabbling. And what happens, and this is the tragic part, is they increase their odds of failing. They don't increase their odds of succeeding. People think, I'll just take it one step at a time and that'll be better. They think that increases their odds of succeeding.
Okay.
Here's my parallel.
Yeah.
If you were to open up a restaurant, Chris, what's your favorite type of food?
Italian.
Great. So if you open up an Italian restaurant and you had one pasta dish, one pizza dish, and well, in an Italian place, you could just have one dessert, tiramisu, and you're set. So
there you go.
I won't call that. One appetizer.
Yeah.
That's it. If you had 3 dishes, how good do you think the restaurant would do?
Not very good, because you don't want to get the people to like those 3 things.
Not very good. Right away, you knew that.
Yeah.
And yet almost every entrepreneur that starts up thinks exactly the same way in their business. Now, I will tell you, one of the most profitable restaurants I've ever seen had 4 appies, 5 mains, and 4 desserts. And that's it. And they changed the entire menu every month.
Wow.
And it was one of the most profitable restaurants I've ever seen. So you don't have to have 800 menu items.
Right.
But you darn well better have enough that people go, wow. And they better be so good that people go, oh my God, that's amazing.
Right.
If you're going to compete in the restaurant space.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of times entrepreneurs know that. If you were asking for advice from them, they would give you that advice as a restaurant.
Yeah.
And then you look at their own business and they've got 1 appy, 1 entree, and 1 dessert. And they just call it, coaching by the hour or whatever. It's like, no. You got to think like a business.
Yeah.
You got to think like a business. And so setting a target of making 100,000 forces you to take some time to work on your business and put together the strategy and the parts. And maybe I hire a coach, or maybe you get someone else involved, or maybe you get a partner, or whatever the case may be, because you start thinking more strategically.
For sure.
Have you met a great restaurant where the owner cooks every dish? Sure. No. But do they serve every dish too?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Right. They're stuck in the kitchen then.
Yeah.
Right. They're at least smart enough to know half of the business should be done by somebody else.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Right. Now, smart enough, 92% of restaurants fail pre-COVID.
Right. Wow.
92% fail. So when I say smart enough, I don't really mean that. I'm saying like surviving. Yeah. Gotcha. Surviving is not thriving.
Right.
Right. Surviving is not thriving. I guess really, if I was thinking of a theme that's how I package it up. Right. Surviving is not what you want to play. That's not the game you want to play as an entrepreneur. Right. You want to talk about thriving, because here's the thing I know. Most entrepreneurs care about the world. Most entrepreneurs are philanthropists at heart.
Yeah.
The saddest thing in the world, Katie Sharfin said this to me once, the saddest thing in the world is a broke philanthropist. So I believe entrepreneurs have a moral obligation to make a lot of money so they can do a lot of good in the world.
I'd agree. Yeah.
Right. You can't do a lot of good in the world if you can barely cover your bills.
Right.
Let's be clear. Right. Yeah. All you're doing is giving interest costs to the credit card companies. Right. And you know what? They're doing fine without you.
Exactly.
Visa and MasterCard do not need an extra $100 of interest from you this month. They really don't. They'll be okay.
Right.
If you're concerned about them, it's okay.
No, I think that's great. And I think, so with that, like, obviously you have to get the clients, and you talked about that. So having the higher ticket offer, having more to offer than just one little thing, but sell the outcome. So how would you suggest people entrepreneurs, new entrepreneurs, aspiring entrepreneurs go about then just finding enough clients with?
Well, this
what
is
they
the
offer?
beauty. If you're doing high ticket, if you're
Mhm.
guaranteeing results and you're selling outcomes, you will know who your ideal target market is.
Yeah,
And you don't need a ton of them. Okay.
true.
So this
Yeah.
idea about 6-figure podcasts, how many people do you think would want a podcast they could make 6 figures on?
A lot of them.
Yeah. Like, I mean, just in Indiana, there's going to be hundreds.
Yeah.
Right? Let alone anywhere else
Yep.
in the world. So there will be thousands and thousands of people that would like to do that. So
Right.
let's say you decided to go all in on that idea and teach them how to do it. Right? And you study the top 20 guys or 20 of the top money makers, figure out what they're doing, add in your own wisdom and experience from your own show.
For sure.
Right? Because your own mistakes are also valuable.
Yeah.
Right? Listen in, everyone. Made and lost millions. Chris said at the beginning, part of my bio. I say that in my bio all the time because the losses actually I learn more from than the wins.
Right.
Way more. You learn lose $250,000 in a week on a bad decision. You pay attention. You make $250,000 on a good decision. You don't always pay attention. I'm telling you. You really pay attention on the losses, though. Right. So your own personal experience, if you're tuning in here, your lessons, your mistakes are a valuable part of the mix as well.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But once you're putting that whole structure together and you decide you're going to play that game, here's the cool part. If you were going to bring $250,000 in results, do you think 1/10 would be a fair total price? Like $25,000 they pay you?
Yeah.
All day long, right? All day long. Well, guess what? For you to do $100,000 a year, how many clients do you need, Chris?
4.
To do $1 million a year. Well, I can't do $1 million a year. Well, that's now your mindset triggers come in. We're talking about mindsets. Okay, now you need some mindset coaching. Yeah. To do $1 million a year, you need 4 plus a 0.
Mm-hmm.
40. That's it. 40 clients. And you're doing $1 million a year.
True.
Well, there are 40 podcasts starting while we've been talking to each other. I guarantee you.
Right.
Right. There's got to be a podcast every second forming right now. So obviously the demand for podcasting is off the charts.
Yep.
The vast majority of them aren't making any money and don't have a strategy to make money.
Right.
Right. One of our programs, we work with Josh. I mentioned him earlier. And Josh has this strategy of inviting your Dream 100 to your podcast. And we ticket our high ticket program. We provide that strategy. We merge the two. We guarantee $1 million in sales in 12 months.
Wow.
We guarantee $1 million in sales in 12 months. Well, how can we do that? Well, because we both know what we're doing and we merge the best of our stuff together so that the combination is even better. We tested this idea 2.5 months ago and we have $500,000 clients now.
That's awesome.
Just testing the idea, testing it. Well, because it turns out, what a surprise. People like making 100,000. They also like making $1 million. It's like, what a surprise. They love that idea. Oh, and by the way, in that program, Josh's team does all the work on the podcast. They find the guests, they book the guests, they do the pre-interviews, they set everything up. You just show up and the questions are ready to go. And then they do all the follow-up, the broadcast, the dissemination, all that. And all you do is say, by the way, Chris, what are you doing, man? We should get together and talk about doing business. Yeah. That's it. That's your job. Your job is once you fall in love with your guest, you invite them to talk about doing business together later on. That's it. Yeah. Everything else is done for you. Well, that's pretty easy. Most of us can handle that.
Right.
Right. So you can learn, everyone tuning in, you can learn from the Joshes of the world and model successful people who have successful programs.
Yeah.
Right. And there are 2 big types of programs. One is a done with you. One is a done for you. Right. Done with you is like a coaching.
Yep.
Where you tell them what to do and they do it. Right. Done for you. You do most of the work. Right. You and your team. You and your team. Right.
Yeah.
You and your team. Right? Even if you don't have a team, you start saying that, everybody. Me and my team.
Yep.
Me and my team. Who are your team? I'm putting them together. But I'm thinking about it now because Tom said, get a damn team. So I'm going to get a team.
Yeah.
Right. Even if it's my buddies and my cat. Right. They're going to be part of my team. I'm going to get my team to put together.
Absolutely.
The cat's not going to do a lot of work. They're lazy. Sorry, kitty cats.
It's true. It's true.
It's true.
I think that, is
that helpful, Chris?
Yeah, no, I think modeling from those who are successful, putting it kind of like our taste on it, what we bring to the table, what we've learned personally from it And yeah, I think these are all great steps to getting that next level in business, whether it just be starting out, whether it be 5K a month, 10K a month, whatever. I mean, as you progress and obviously having that goal of 100K the first year, I think.
And this is the secret. It's
Yeah.
actually easier to sell high ticket programs that guarantee results than low ticket courses that don't. It's easier.
Yeah,
because it's way more compelling.
Guarantee, yeah.
It's way more compelling. We just launched a brand new program. We have a mastermind division. We just launched a brand new program. It's a guaranteed $250,000 in sales through what we call a done-for-you lead generation machine.
Okay.
So they get a strategic lead magnet, retargeting ads. They get a quick action video script. They get a masterclass 3-hour deep dive training. They get a follow-up indoctrination sequences and 250 leads. All of that done for $25,000. You know the space. That's crazy, right? That we could be charging so much more.
Yeah.
And on top of that, we only ask for 25% upfront. All the rest is linked to results.
Awesome.
And like always, we tested it.
Yeah.
And we had 11 clients in the first 5 days.
Wow.
Like 11 clients, $250,000 each, only quarters cash. Right? Don't go crazy, people listening in. When you guarantee results, you don't collect it all up front. You got to earn it. You got to earn it. But it's more than 50,000 cash.
Yeah.
That's pretty good for a 1-week test.
Yeah, absolutely. No,
right? That's a 1-week test. Brand new program, brand new idea. Admittedly, with some experienced people putting it together, but a brand new program.
Yeah.
And in this case, it was for our mastermind division. Several of the people that sold the test had never done anything like this. This was their first attempt.
Okay.
So you can sell something you've never done before. You just need to have a strategy for it.
For sure.
You need to either have partners that have done it like me, or you need to have physical partners in your business, or you need to do the authority reporter stuff that I was telling you about earlier.
Right.
You interview 20 people who are knocking this out of the park. You become an expert. You become an expert. And then your position is, let's do this together. Let's figure it out. Let's crack the code.
Yeah. Super
honorable, way more fun, way more lucrative.
I love it. No, and I think it's, it's so doable. You're just learning, and that's first trait of pencil leadership is to humble ourselves, because a pencil can't leave a mark without being held.
Ooh,
and so we all have to have coaches, mentors, people guiding us and helping us to leave our positive mark, because there's always going to be someone better and more knowledgeable, more successful that we're trying to strive for. And so,
and that's why we've decided late last year and all this year that we are going to give away our best program for free as a scholarship. We teach them how to, anyone listening in, if this kind of appeals to you and the idea of becoming an authority and building a high ticket program appeals to you, then you should apply. Right now, about 81% of the people that apply get accepted. So not everyone will get in.
Gotcha.
Right. If I'll just tell you in advance, if you apply and say, I have no time, I have no authority and don't want to learn it, you'll get rejected. I'm promising you. Okay. So, but if you're honest and you want it, you'll get accepted, and we'll teach you how to create a high ticket program, blueprint, validate, and sell in the first 4 months. It's a program that we sell for $10,000. It's a full program, comes with 12 coaching calls a month, templates, learning, accountability partners, everything we have in our paid programs. In fact, we actually used to sell this one for $15,000. We put $10,000 on it when we went to the scholarship mode, just so it would be a little bit more believable for people. But we've done $3.5 million in scholarships, Chris, since we launched it.
Wow.
And we love it. We absolutely love it. We'll make sure we get to the link for your show notes for people so they can find it and click on it. It takes about 7 or 8 minutes to watch a video where I describe what's involved and why the heck we're doing this. But here's the thing. We believe we have a moral obligation to help other entrepreneurs thrive. And what we thought would be the case in November when we first tried this, we gave away $1 million in a week just to try it. We thought, well, some people will get in and will need our help. And some people will get in and will want to upgrade. And some people will get in and refer. But, that'll be down the road. So let's not worry about it. Let's just do it.
Right.
Well, turns out all of those things happen even faster than we imagined because we're giving away the real thing. It wasn't a taste. It was a full-on program. And so people loved it. And so we decided strategically to give away as many as we can. Our goal is 10 million in scholarships this year.
Wow.
And I just recruited 26 other people with programs. And in July, together, we gave away 124.5 million in scholarships, Chris.
Wow. That's awesome.
It was just awesome. We like literally crushed it, giving away all these different scholarships. Because here's what I've learned is if you do right by somebody and they get results, they're going to spread the word.
For sure.
They're going to spread the word.
Yep.
And whether they work with you more or they just tell other people, that's a win.
Yep.
And more importantly, you're going to change your business life. There's a whole bunch of people that wish they were full-time in business more than ever with COVID, right? Because of all the craziness that's going on.
Yep.
Everyone's realized a job is no guarantee anymore.
It's true.
Right? Doesn't matter where you are. As we record this, post office jobs are being ended. Yeah. That's got to be like the strongest union in the whole world, and they're being ended. Like, what's going on? There's no job that's safe anymore. So if you want to write your own destiny, you need to be an entrepreneur. Most of us kind of have a feeling that way, or they wouldn't be listening to this podcast, right?
Right. Yep.
They're either leaning a little bit in or they're all into that model. So why not make it easier on yourself? Right? Make it easy. Get all of our best training, get all of our best coaching. You don't do all 12 coaching calls a month, by the way. You go to the ones that make sense for you wherever you're at.
Gotcha.
Right? You don't want to be listening to coaching calls all day long. You want to be getting work done.
Right.
So you go to the if you're working on creating a blueprint or creating a program, you go to the creating calls. If you're working on blueprinting it, you work on the blueprinting calls. If you're working on selling it, you go to the selling calls, whatever it happens to be. You can go to them all, but we recommend you focus your energy.
Right.
Or you're going to get the best results. And we're really proud of it. We're super excited about it. And we encourage anyone listening in to check it out. And podcast hosts are invited too, Chris.
Oh, nice. There we go.
That idea bounced off you is just like one thing you could run with. But I'm telling you, it would be a rock star thing for people to do because that is an industry that's exploding. You know it.
Oh, yeah.
Right. And most people are going in with no strategy to make money.
It's true.
Right. They're trying to like run ads. That's not a strategy to make money in a podcast, people. That's a strategy to waste your time.
Right.
Because who likes an ad on a podcast? Is anyone listening? Yeah, I didn't hear anyone raise their hand, right? No one likes ads on a podcast. They're super intimate experiences.
Right.
No one likes ads on a TV show where it's quasi-intimate. Podcast is totally intimate. And now brought to you by McDonald's. Let's talk about your next Big Mac. No, nobody wants that.
Right.
So that's not the way you make money. You make the money, guess what? By building high trust relationships, by having high ticket programs and attracting the right audience so they want to play with you.
Yep.
Boom. That's how you make money.
I love it. Yeah. So the big takeaway is who, not how. So who can get stuff done for you so you don't have to do it all. Start with high ticket and use different means to make that attractive to people. Sell outcomes, not a process. And then
guarantee results.
Guarantee results was the last one I had. Am I missing any? I think that was it.
No, I think those were the big ones I would say from today. That's enough. I can tell you this much. Had I learned that, my made and lost millions would have been far less painful.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Far less painful. Let me tell you. Like, for example, go back to the DJ business, right? Let's apply it to After 8 music services, right? Outcomes. Right, I would have easy. Just do weddings.
True.
And just do the ultimate weddings.
Yeah,
and make it so inclusive and add in other elements so it's the best night of their life.
Yep.
And now instead of $200 to $300 for a gig, you're getting $2,000 or $3,000 because it's the best night of their life.
Yeah. Yep.
Done. Right. Boom. Drop that mic.
That's awesome. No. So yeah, guys, great nuggets, information in this. Tom, thank you again for being on and sharing all this. Before we go, obviously we're going to put the link to your program in the show notes. Where else can people find you? I know you have a website. Yeah,
the best way for people to find me is go to LinkedIn. If you search Matzen, M-A-T-Z-E-N or M-A-T-Z-E-N, depending what part of the world you come from. I'm the only Tom there, I think, but certainly the only one with 20,000 connections. And you'll see links to our scholarship. You'll see links to other programs. You'll see, hundreds of testimonials and videos because part of what happens when you get into this world is you start to build a track record and build social proof.
Yeah.
But hear me, if you're new, you don't need that to get in this game.
Right.
What you need is a game worth playing, and then link it to results. And you will find people that will be happy to step up and play the game with you.
For sure.
Right. Especially if you're transparent. I'm not saying fooling people, right? Chris is launching this idea, right? If you want to build a 6-figure podcast business and you're listening to this, let Chris know, reach out to him. If you're tuning in and you're like, yeah, that'd be great, Chris. I'd be a guinea pig. I'd be one of the first beta people. I'd be that. Chris gets enough people to raise their hand. Guess what Chris is going to do? Going to sign up for a scholarship.
Yeah.
He's going to develop the program and you'll be the guinea pigs.
Yep.
Right? Like literally, I want every single person out there thinking, okay, where's my next high ticket program?
Yeah.
Where's my next high ticket program? Where's my next high ticket program? So thank you for your time, Chris. I know we went overtime, but
no,
I thought it'd be helpful.
Very valuable. And before I do say goodbye, I like to ask one question to the guest.
Got it. 17. Oh, wait, no, wait for the question. Wait for the question.
The fifth trait of pencil leadership is that we're all created with a unique purpose to leave a mark, a positive mark on the world. So after everything is said and done for you on earth here, what do you hope your mark is?
Oh, that's easy. We have a nonprofit we've already set up called the Entrepreneur Empowerment Institute, and it runs in parallel with our for-profit entity. And the mission of that nonprofit is to reverse the failure rate of small business across the globe. Awesome. Right now, 2 out of 3 small businesses fail in the first 6 years. Pre-COVID, 2 out of 3 fail. In good times, 2 out of 3 fail.
Right.
This year, it's probably going to be closer to 4 out of 5. Right? It doesn't have to be that way. True. It doesn't have to be that way. We're going to 5x, maybe 10x this year.
That's awesome.
Like it's epic. We love it. And our clients are doing the same thing. It doesn't have to be that way. So the legacy that I know I will be leaving, because we've already got it up and running. We're building content libraries and training and programs, and the scholarship initiative is part of that. We're going to, together, by empowering people like you and others, Chris, to embrace the whole world of selling outcomes, guaranteeing results, because then you can charge what you're worth. You can make real good money, and you're not going out of business.
Right.
By the way, sidebar, you could then sell that as a business to someone else.
True.
And actually get equity. This crazy cool idea of when you sell a business worth more than it costs you to build. Right. Which a lot of people have no idea when they start their business that even exists out there until it's time they're exhausted and they want out and they're like, oh, I need to get out. What can I sell my business for? And they've set up something that's not sellable.
Right.
So that may be a topic for another day, because the best thing you can do is figure that out before you start.
Yeah.
Not later. You can do it later. It's just a lot of freaking work. But if you do it from the beginning, it's so much easier.
I'm sure.
So much easier. So much more fun too.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah. Well, again, thanks. Legacy is what I kind of took out of that. What your mark wants to be, and you're doing it, which is awesome. So again, Tom, thank you so much for being on Pencil Leadership, sharing all of this with the audience, and there's a lot to take away from it. So thank you again. You're most welcome, Chris. Happy to be here. Yeah. And guys, share this with somebody that it can make an impact in their life. Go on wherever you listen to podcasts, subscribe, rate and review. It really helps get this message to more people so we can make a bigger difference, leave a bigger mark on the world. And until next time, let's go out and be